Welcome everybody to the Fully Involved podcast. We have a guest today, Erik Vidal. Erik, how you doing today?
What's going on, Cap?
What's going on, man? How you doing today, man?
I'm good.
How's your Saturday?
Saturday, start off with a workout. I'm feeling good. I'm ready for the day.
I feel bad. I haven't got my workout in yet. So, listen, I saw you in the podcast the other day on Julian's podcast, and I was like, man, I got to get this guy in there. Plus, I knew you from a while. We worked together, and we do some things together. And I was like, he's definitely a person I need to bring on here. So, welcome.
Thank you, sir. Humble for the opportunity. Grateful for this moment. Want a quick shout out to Julian from Prepare to Fight Fire. Brother, thank you.
He does good things.
I just leave it at that.
I like his speed. So listen, we'll tell us about yourself, man. Let the world get to know who you are from as a child. Where were you born? Where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to middle school, high school?
Sure. So I'll start off with this. We all have a story. It is important to share your story. And if something resonates, and if something you say resonates with other people, then by all means, you start creating a community. So I grew up in Hialeah. Went to school in Hialeah. My journey to becoming a firefighter actually started on career day, when these City of Hialeah firefighters would come to career day, and you as a child see these men, women, and you're just in awe of them. They're real life superheroes. And you want to be them. And I'm telling you, back in the day, City of Hialeah firefighters were studs, right? These guys were ball players, athletes, military veterans, and you as a child, you want to emulate that. Fast forward, my childhood actually created the person I am today. So growing up, I was a very coddled kid. I was a very sensitive kid. As a matter of fact, I was overweight. In comparison, I'm 40 years old, I'm 5'8", I'm 160 pounds. When I was a child, let's say I was around 11 to 12 years old, I was 5 foot tall, 165 pounds, and I used to get bullied a lot, man. I used to get teased a lot. And that resentment, that animosity, going through that journey, that time period, has created the man that I am today. Everything I've ever done is to make that kid proud, right? Whether it be joining the military, being a combat medic on the line, being a helicopter pilot, being a firefighter. It's just knowing that I never want to be that kid, or that I want to make that kid proud. It's really my driving force. It's build that mindset to not settle, to be better than you were, and to always be an asset and not a liability. So growing up in Hialeah, raised by my mother, grew up with my sister. We moved around a lot. I said this earlier. We grew up in the projects. It was government housing. From there, we moved to Naples. And I went to middle school in Naples. I went to high school in Naples. And then eventually I started living with my grandmother. My grandmother ended up raising me. And I finished school in Miami Springs, Hialeah. From there, didn't really see the importance of higher education, so I started working. Did odd jobs here and there. I found myself in TV production in the film industry. And I started off as throwing cable, just being a camera assistant. Moved on to cameraman. From there, I discovered lighting and sound and directing, and I did things in that space. It got to the point where I was going nowhere fast. I was comfortable. Till one day, I had a motorcycle accident. I separated my left shoulder. I broke my right ankle.
Lucky to be alive. I'm scared of those things.
Like I said, going nowhere fast. I was super overweight at the time. I weighed 210 pounds. And I was considered obese. Mind you, this is August 2005. Hurricane Katrina passes through South Florida. Hurricane Katrina knocks out the power to parts of Hialeah. So
A lot of places. A lot of places.
correct. I'm there in a cast. My arm is slinged up, and I'm sweating under my tits. Like I had man boobs of how fat I was. And it was that moment where I decided, like, oh my God, I gotta change my life. I gotta do something, man. We get power back. Now Hurricane Katrina is in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico en route to Louisiana, and is a Category 5. It's about to destroy Louisiana. Luckily, the hurricane passes through, and everything was, you want me to say it? It was Gucci. What happened was the levees broke, and it flooded the whole city.
Everywhere.
Correct.
Weren't expecting that.
So images on the news of Louisiana, Hurricane Katrina pop up, and you see these Coast Guards. You see these air rescue guys. You see these air rescue swimmers. And you're like, oh my God, that's so badass. How can I do that?
Rescuing people, getting them off rooftops, doing
Exactly.
buckets.
Yes, I vividly remember. It was 2005. I was 22 at the time. Heroes, real life heroes. Quick story. Before that, I wasn't involved in a motorcycle accident, but one of my buddies was. So again, quick story. We're going up the I-95. We're taking the 395, and my buddy hits the guardrail. He doesn't have control of his motorcycle. Hits the curb, hits the guardrail. Now he throws his bike off to the side, and now he's riding the guardrail like a rag doll. And this guy's right in front of me, and I see the whole thing go down.
You witness everything.
I see the whole thing go down. I was like, oh my God, this guy's dead. So I parked my bike, I threw my bike there, I go back, and I see his body there, lifeless. What appears to be lifeless. Like, I'm this young kid, 18, 19 at the time. No clue what to do. And then the city guys show up. The big red fire trucks. They knew exactly what to do. They keep all the red stuff inside. They patch him up. His shoulder is dangling because his clavicle is broken. And I thought this guy was dead. They put his shoulder like semi back in place. They put him on a backboard. They put him on a stretcher. They load up on the truck, and then, bro, they saved his life.
That's an impression on you.
Definitely. I was like, oh my God, what just happened? What was that? How did those guys know what to do? Noted, right? Imprint, noted. And then back to the Katrina, years later, Hurricane Katrina passed through South Florida. Minimal damage, demolishes Louisiana, and then, right, the helicopters, the servicemen and women, making an impact.
Saves.
Yeah, saving lives.
Making saves.
And you're like, oh man.
In real time. It's just and it's captured on video for the world to see, and you're like, wow.
Yeah, so that was 2005. Backtrack 2001. 9/11, another imprint, right?
I think everybody knew where they were at.
I knew exactly where I was that day.
It's almost like the space shuttle. It's one of those moments that are just seared into your brain.
Correct. I was 18 at the time. I had just graduated high school. I was working for a TV channel. I was a lighting technician.
We have to get you to work on helping with some of these lights here next time.
So far, so good, man. What you got is going on. What you got going on is right. It's working. 9/11/01, we're in the studio. We're recording some TV show. News breaks out. One of the world towers was just hit by an airplane. And we're like, what is that? I'm like, man, so weird.
What
An
dumbass
accident.
in a Cessna flew into the building?
An accident, bro. And, bro, look, I get chills. I can't even. One of the old man that was there, was like, oh, that's an act of terrorism. I was like, man, what the fuck does this guy know about acts of terrorism or anything? And sure as shit, bro, the second plane hits, and we see it in live time, like live. We're like, oh, what the? And the old man says, we're going to war. Yes.
Listen, I think like you, when the first one, you're like, oh, it's just an accident. You're like, the boys are going to work. You know they're going to climb some stairs, and they're going to fight some fire, and they're going to go to work. They got a real fire.
Yes.
And then you see the second one hit, and then you're like, say what?
Yeah.
Then you knew something was definitely wrong.
Exactly.
It's intentional.
Man. Imprint. Talking about imprints. Imprint. And then the firefighters, the first responders, military personnel. It's just, I was speechless.
It's just for me seeing the bodies, the people jumping. Like, things were so bad that the better option at that time was to jump out the window, knowing exactly the outcome. I can't even look at those images anymore. When I see it, I almost have to turn my head, because when people say never forget, you will never, you don't need to remind us.
Correct.
We're not going to forget.
Some people have forgotten. It's evident. You see what's going on in today's climate. Some people have forgotten. It's sad. I really can't speak on that. I can't resonate with that. I can't empathize with that. I can't comprehend it. But we, as a fire service, we always remember. Put some gear on, grab a couple tools, put your pack on, climb some stairs, see what happens. Humbling.
Very, very humbling.
Humbling. Vince Lombardi has a quote. I think about this quote every single day. Fatigue makes cowards out of all of us. It depends on how fit you are that you delay that response. You delay that fatigue. You delay that cowardice. The fitter you are, the longer you could work. The longer your mind is sound.
Make good judgments. Better decisions.
Mental acuity. Resilience. You persevere. You thrive under pressure. That's what you want. You know. That's why it's so important to have training partners. I mean, granted, you have to do the work on your own. But when you with a group of individuals that have a similar mindset, right? They have the similar mindset, like-minded individuals. Iron sharpens iron, man. That's one of the truest phrases, quotes. That's one of the hardest quotes I've ever encountered. Read, heard, iron sharpens iron.
The whole crew has to be in sync, because if one person is not in shape, they could bring down the whole team.
You're a detriment. You're a liability. Special ops. They're teams for a reason. They have subject matter experts. You're the breacher. You're the medic. Your land navigation. Your land nav. Your comms. That design is not erroneous. It wasn't just someone stumbled on that idea. No, that is designed for a specific reason. Also, on that caveat, you must know every other person's job.
Exactly.
Let's say the comms guy goes down, he gets hit. You have to back him up. Now you're the comms guy.
Job still needs to get done.
The job flow. It's all fluid. You're the medic. Now you're the medic and the comms guy. Or you're land nav. Now you're communicating. Shoot, move, communicate. So important. Where am I going with this? The greatest teams I've ever seen assembled are those that have strengths and weaknesses, but they complement each other so well, like gears. Just like, what you lack, I got you. And what I lack, hopefully you got me.
And like you said, we have to know each other's roles. Similar like what we have here in training, when we deliver a subject, we all know each other's subject, because we may need to fill in, and it's a team effort. Everything we do here in the fire service, military, whatever be it, takes a team effort, and we should definitely know each other's job, because we may need to step up someday.
Exactly, Cap.
So, Hialeah to Naples.
Hialeah to Naples.
How was that change for you? Because I know for me, coming from Jamaica, I was born in Jamaica and I grew up here, and to me, moving to this country, the greatest country, was a culture shock.
I was just thinking that as you asked the question, it was culture shock. That's it. Hialeah is primarily heavily demographic of Hispanics. Naples at the time, it was Caucasians, correct?
You stood out.
I stood out. I was Tony Montana. I was Scarface. You know, I was the Cuban Chico. I was a Cuban kid from Miami. I was welcomed because I was different. Um, I was original. I wasn't a copy. I wasn't like everyone else. I looked different. I spoke different. I was embraced by my diversity, but then also I was outcasted because I was different. So I had to stand out. I had to prove my worth, I guess. There have been times in my life where I felt inadequate. That's one of the times in my life where I felt inadequate.
And how was things over there? Did you play sports, or would you were involved in any activities?
One activity, before I touch up on that, like I stated earlier, I lived a very coddled life. Raised by my mother, grew up with my sister. My mom overly protected me as a kid, so I wasn't exposed.
My mother was totally opposite. I had to fend for my own.
And she did the best she could. You know what I'm saying? She did what she thought was right.
Of course.
And I love her for that. Thanks, Mom. But when I became of age, I've done everything and anything under the sun, right? It's kind of like the shackles were off. Now I don't have to directly report to someone. You know, I'm my own person, and I found my way.
Good.
You know, eventually I found my way in.
And then how old were you when you moved back to Miami?
16.
16.
So from the ages of 12 to 16. Okay, so to answer your question, we moved to Naples because I was getting in trouble a lot in school.
Okay.
For example, one of the policies was not to wear shorts in the middle school. Guess who wore shorts?
You wore shorts.
Yeah, I wore shorts at school, and I got CSI, and then I got my ass beat.
CSI? I haven't even heard that in a while,
I got
man.
CSI.
CSI.
My mother picked me up from CSI, and she auto-corrected the wrongdoings, right?
Listen.
And then I'll get into fights a lot because back then, you can't talk about my mom. You know, mama jokes were like a big, like those are fighting words.
Yo, mama, what? You remember this?
Your mama's so fat. Your mama's so hairy, and it was like, man. So
kids are ruthless.
Kids are ruthless. Again, to circle back, I got teased a lot. I was overweight. I was a sensitive kid. Did not know how to combat or retaliate. I didn't have my thought process. I couldn't really speak or have comebacks. I was just like hunker down and shut down. I'll just get sad. And again, feeling inadequate. That feeling, that resentment of I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough to be chosen or play sports with other kids or whatever. That is a powerful motivator. That's so important to like feel failure, to feel it, to embrace it, to be like, okay, this sucks, and I never want to feel like this ever again.
Come to think about it, maybe that's why I'm just sometimes an introverted at times. Most of the times, it's because when I moved here, I'm from Jamaica. I didn't talk right. I talked different. I used to get picked on just by the way I spoke. And like you said, kids are ruthless, where I just like, I didn't even want to talk because I was afraid that people would pick on you because you spoke different.
Correct.
So
yeah, super sad. Super sad. And yeah, kids are, like you said, ruthless. They say the darndest things. And I didn't know how to combat that.
Any football, baseball?
Oh, right. So no sports. I did pick up JROTC in high school.
Okay.
Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps, whatnot. JROTC, and I excelled in that.
Really?
I excelled at JROTC because I was told to do something, and I did it to the T.
That structure.
Correct. That regiment, that discipline. And back then, you'll receive incentives. Your shoes are shined. Your boots are polished to the brim. Man, I can see my resemblance. It looks like a glass, like mirrors. Promoted. I'm like, okay, all right. This what's up. I got some type of responsibility now, you know? And because I did good, now I affected those around me to do good or to be better. So I would give them my, I guess, insight on how to polish shoes or polish boots. That started there at the most basic level, giving someone responsibility and having responsibility over others. Now you gotta step up and own the role.
Boom.
High school.
So how long were you in the junior ROTC? And
I was there for 2 years. And that gave me, I guess that was like my first taste of accomplishment.
Awesome.
You know? Yes. I moved up in rank. I was on the rifle team. I started shooting. I learned how to shoot. I was on the color guard team. I know how to march. And I started learning how to march. I started learning cadence. I started learning steps. I was on the drill team. Now I was drilling. Now I was twirling rifles up in the air, and I was good at it. Yeah. I finally found something. I finally found my place. I finally found somewhere where I was accepted for my skills, and not because I looked a certain way,
right,
or I talked a certain way. And I guess that was my first taste of leading by example.
Awesome. And after high school, did you go into service? You go to college? Tell me about your journey after high school.
After high school, I started working right away. I moved back to Hialeah, started living with my grandmother. My grandmother was actually like caring for me, and I saw the conditions we were living in, and I had to start working right away. Luckily, a good friend of mine in high school, he brought me into the TV production and film industry. So I would skip school to get paid $150 a day to throw cable for concerts, commercials, TV shows. And that's where I started, at the most basic level.
Bills have to get paid.
Yes.
Who wants to go to school anyways? But sometimes those are some of the tough decisions, because my mother was always working. We were pretty much growing up ourselves. If she would go from a morning job to an afternoon job to a night job. And when I say a night job, she worked at night, and then even in the mornings, she would deliver newspaper, and we had to help. So you had to contribute at an earlier age.
Correct. Yes. And it's your responsibility, your duty. If you want to eat, or you want to be an asset, you want to bring something to the table, you do the work. You put in the work. I was asked earlier on a different podcast, where did I cultivate my mindset? Where was my mindset cultivated? And now I can honestly say it was two things. Number one, the work ethic of my mother. Super hard worker. Seeing her struggle. On that note, seeing my grandma struggle. Seeing my mom struggle, seeing my grandmother struggle. That built the mindset that hard work pays off. And then number two, being that child. Being that kid, being that vulnerable kid. And never wanted to be that kid or feel that way ever again, and just make that kid proud. The mindset to just grind, work, leave it better than you found it, make those around you better, just be better, live righteously. The mindset of never settling, going after what you want, tenacity, perseverance, have resiliency. When you go through something, when you experience something of hardship, and at the end of it, you come out on the other side, you accomplish something.
Exactly.
As compared to being given something, someone just gave you something, you really don't know the value of it or the worth of it.
The struggle is real, man.
Struggle is real, and it's necessary. It's important, especially for a young men, to know hardship, to know failure, so they could embrace the success.
Like with me, everything was a struggle. Nothing was ever given. I had to work for every single thing. Every once in a while, things would just happen. You'd be like, I got lucky, or that was easy, but that wasn't the norm, man. I mean, didn't have nice clothes, didn't have a car, had to take the bus, had to work at Wendy's, flip burgers, make French fries. When the guys were going out, I had to work, or where they would go places and they would order all these foods and stuff. I would be like, no, I'm not hungry, but I didn't have the money to buy that shit. Right. And I didn't want to ask anybody to lend me money, even though they would.
Correct.
I didn't want to be that person. I wanted to make sure that I could pay for things on my own, and it's just those little things, man.
It's super important for you to go through that. Super important for someone to experience that. You said about the clothes and the shoes, right? I didn't have name brand shoes. Used to call them Bobos from Payless. I didn't have the JanSport.
Payless.
I didn't have the JanSport backpack. You know, the East Pack. I didn't have the name brand backpack growing up. I had some generic ass backpack.
Marshalls.
You name it, whatever. That's what it was. Now that I can afford nice things, I have 5 backpacks.
The best.
I have my Nikes on. I have nice shoes. I have nice eyewear. I have gangster sunglasses because we didn't have anything of those things growing up.
Didn't have it, and
Yes.
It's like and we'll get to kids in a second. I have 2 kids, and my kids don't know what I went through. I almost feel like I made it too easy for them.
Right, but that's your job, man. Nor should they.
But they need a little bit of a taste of like I used to give them things just they would ask for. But now I'm just saying, okay, well, what are you gonna do for me? What are we gonna do? Clean the house, or you need to do this. They have to at least work for it. Where they're not just gonna be given to them just because they asked for it.
Sure. One of the most important things I've known or come to know as a father, as a man, is teach your children the things you weren't taught. Pass on to them. And I get emotional, dude.
And hopefully they listen to you because my kids are like, what does he know? Like same thing I did with my mom when she would try to instill those things. You're just like, yeah, whatever. I know everything. I'm 15. I've seen everything, and the older and older you get, you're like,
damn,
what she was saying was true. Damn,
I
should have listened.
Right.
I should have paid more attention.
Right. Damn.
So how many kids?
Yeah.
How many kids do you have?
I got one daughter, little girl.
How old is
She's
she?
13 years old. Man,
That is the little girl.
light of my life. The reason why I'm here. The sole reason why I'm here. She doesn't know, nor should she know the things that I've gone through, right? But I can attribute my willingness to endure hardship and to endure suffering and hard times for her. Everything I do is for her, man. Trying to leave an imprint, trying to leave a legacy, trying to leave something for her. So when I'm not here, she could
Proud of dad.
yeah, she right. So she could be proud of me, but so she could be self-sufficient,
Exactly.
So no one could come to her, step to her and take advantage of her. I guess that's my biggest thing. Hopefully, I'll teach her the things I've taught her things that are everlasting. From putting gas in the car.
If we don't prepare them, the streets will.
Sadly,
and
so.
it's just easier that we get them ready as much as we can. Even sometimes it's tough love or whatever, but we need to make sure that we share our experiences so it's easier for them in life.
Right. Yes, sir. I wholeheartedly agree. And things from investing to like save up $1 so you can have 2 tomorrow, or like I said earlier, putting gas in the car. How do you put gas in the car? Well, you got to pay for the gas first, and then you see this little lever. Now that opens up and just put the nozzle. That one of the biggest things is we go to the library. We walk to the library and she checks out
That is
books.
awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't even think libraries existed anymore.
Yeah,
Everything's on the internet.
libraries are fully
We had
functioning.
the Britannica. What's it called? The Britannica?
Oh, Encyclopedia
Encyclopedia
Britannica.
Come to you.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to buy some encyclopedias? Like, oh yeah, man.
Yeah,
Oh
sure.
my God.
Yeah, we walk to the library. We check out books. She reads books.
I'm an audiobook guy. I do like to read every once in a while because you still like that page turner, but I like audiobooks.
I find myself I have found myself reading true stories that resonate, that have some type of lesson or something that you could learn from, or not so much fictional stories, but nonfiction.
I'm there with you.
Documentaries. I resort to documentaries a lot. Learning from the past, You know, how can we apply lessons learned from the past to the future? That sort of thing.
So you're in the military. How long? What branch and how long were you in the military?
So I was in the U.S. Army. I did a total of 10 years. My first 3 years were active duty. I was a combat medic on the line. I deployed to Iraq. I was out there 2007 through 2008. Came back home, separated from the service. And this is what happens when you separate. There's like a void in you. It feels like you're missing something. It feels like you lack something. Whether it be weapons or a bottle of water, something. It feels like you're used to having things in your hands, or you're used to having weapons on your sides, and now you don't have those things anymore. Something as easy as that. So what happens is you get this feeling of avoidance, lacking, and now you want to go back. So I went back in. And what I discovered through that little stint or that journey was purpose. Man, I don't have sense of fulfillment anymore. I don't have camaraderie anymore.
Right.
I don't have the brotherhood. You know, because you're with guys and gals day in, day out.
All the time.
Constantly surrounded by
all
people.
The time.
Depending on other people. You know, 2 in, 2 out. Like we say in the fire service. It's a battle buddy system in the military. So you're constantly depending on someone. You're constantly having someone with you. Now you come back home, 4 walls, a roof, and now you're by yourself.
All you.
And your thoughts. And war. And how can you do something? What are you going to do?
So that transition was a little tough.
Transition was not easy. I discovered fitness in the service. So like I was saying earlier, I was overweight, Coast Guards, rescuing people off rooftops. I had that epiphany of being overweight, sweating on my tits.
I have that too, man. I
joined the service.
I was a D line. I used to play line. People would be like, "What? You play line?" Yeah, I was overweight, and just like you, man, we just had to. You see a picture of yourself one day, and just like, you didn't like the way you look. Got to do something about it.
Exactly, man. That's why Goggins is so. That's why he resonates with people. You know, he was a certain way, and he actually did something about it.
You got to do something about it.
Just got to act, man. You just got to do the work. You just got to work. Get up and go. Just stop thinking about doing something. Just do it.
How did the fire service come into?
Right. So when I was a child, right, career day was an imprint. So there's that. And then when you leave the service, what am I going to do now? You know, what can I do? I have all these skills. Where can I utilize all these skills? And I've always wanted to be a firefighter, man. Like I said, growing up, seeing these guys, they were always so happy. I could attest now the reason why they're so happy is because they have purpose. They live meaningful lives, right? People call you on their worst day, and they expect you to act and perform and solve their problems. And luckily, it's not just you. There's a team of you for that one individual to solve their problems.
So how was hiring process for you? I know for me, I applied everywhere. I went for me, my radius was Key West, Orlando, Tampa. I would have taken a job anywhere. I even thought about Jacksonville and other places, but it was almost like every weekend you'd fill out those cards and see who was hiring, study to take the test, take interview preparation classes, be physically fit because, you know, there was a physical test and you just always had to be ready. So how was your journey getting to the fire service?
So my journey to the fire service, I'll start off by saying this. You just can't wake up one day and say, oh, I want to be a firefighter. I'm just going to go down to City Hall.
Not going to work.
I'm going to go down to the 111 building. I'm going to apply to be a firefighter. Hire me. Doesn't work that way. So the fire service opens up every so often, every couple of years on average, and they take in applications, and then you go through a process. I was unaware of this. I did not know this getting out of high school. So schooling, right after high school, I went to Miami-Dade Community College. Back then it was MDCC. And I applied to the fire program, and I had to do a CPAT. That CPAT borderline murdered me. Like, killed me. I was like, oh my God. I'm not ready for this. And back then, people were applying left and right.
Catch you off guard. It will catch you off guard.
Yes. The hose pull, the hose drag, the going up the stairs in gear and a weight vest and whatever. I wasn't prepared. And the applicants was like a laundry list. And you have your military veterans and you have, you know, your athletes. And then back then, supposedly it was a lottery, but they already knew who. This is just opinion. They already knew who they were picking. So I didn't get selected for Fire Academy at MDCC. So I started working. But there's always something I wanted to do, man. Always, I felt like I belonged there. That camaraderie, that brotherhood, that's what I wanted. I couldn't exactly pinpoint to what it was, but that's what I wanted. The earliest application process for me was 05. I applied to Miami-Dade PD.
Okay.
I would have set up to be a cop.
I think everybody goes along with that. What can I do? PD, firefighter,
right. PD,
military.
fire.
After you, I wasn't in the military, but when you get out, we start. Those are the jobs that we kind of gravitate towards.
Right. Yes. So this was 05. This was prior to me joining the service. Did not get selected. And the laundry list just keeps going after that. So after 05, the application processes, departments just starts growing after that. 05 MDPD, I applied to BSO, the beach, Miami-Dade Fire Rescue. I wasn't selected. Oh, quick story that is worth mentioning. Back in 08, when I first got back home, I applied to Miami-Dade Fire.
Mm-hmm.
So mind you, I had just gone back from war. The housing market is on the ground. The stock market just crashed. And I'm like, oh my God, what is this? Is the war overseas or is the war back at home? Like, what's going on here? I applied to be a firefighter back in 08. Took the test, scored fairly well. But I get that email saying, sure as shit, the county's on a hiring freeze. We're not hiring anyone. And I'm like, oh my God, what do I do now? So again, back to that sense of lacking something, that void that was there. I was like, man, ain't nothing for me back home. I'm gonna go back in. So I went the Florida Army National Guard route. So yeah, that's one. Fast forward, now we're in 2016. I applied to Miami-Dade Fire Rescue again. Did not get selected, bro.
How many times did you apply?
I've applied a total of 3 times.
I think I might got you a little bit there, but we know
Miami-Dade
the same.
Fire.
We know
Right.
the same rodeo, man. We've taken
Right.
those tests and got those thank you, but no thank you letters. And you're like,
Correct.
what do I need to do?
Well, with good reason. With good reason. And this is why I'm one of the believers that everything happens for a reason, or along the lines of that. You know, what is the purpose of this? Why am I going through this? What is this trying to teach me? I become very stoic after after a certain age, because you got to, man. It wasn't personal. It was just business at the time or at the moment. I probably wasn't what they were looking for. Cool. But what happened was I went through a very severely depression. Like again, that feeling of inadequacy. I didn't feel adequate. I felt like I wasn't worthy. Like, why am I, like, what's this? So this is back in 2016. I didn't pass my psychological. Cool. I go to school. I start going to college. I went to FIU. I went to Florida International University. I started taking courses on conflict management, gender communication, leadership, intercultural communication. And what I come to find out is it's so important the way you speak, and the manner and how you speak, and the things that you say. Words mean things.
Words matter.
Words do matter. They can either build up nations or tear down nations.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's taken me a lifetime to recognize that. Or
Still a work in progress.
yes. Yes, sir. So I went to FIU. I graduated with a bachelor's in communication. It's made me the person who I am today, honestly. Like, so because of my childhood, because of my military service, I was very to myself. You could say I was an introvert. You could say this profession is not that.
Mm-mm.
Definitely. This profession is not that. You have to be outgoing. You have to be outspoken. You have to speak well. You have to communicate
Work
effectively.
well with others.
Correct. In times of stress, communication is key. The manner in which you speak is key. We've been there. You hear someone hysterical over the radio, you're like, oh man, the world is ending. You hear someone cool, calm, and collected over the radio, okay, we got this.
We got this.
Yeah, we can do this. Let's go. That being said, I went to an institution of higher learning. I learned how to speak. I learned how to put my thoughts into words. I am the man you see before you today because of that journey, because of that trajectory. Let's say I would have gotten hired. I wouldn't have done my bachelor's. I wouldn't have been able to manage conflict, per se. I wouldn't have been aware of gender roles and how to speak to certain individuals from different cultures. Oblivious.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you. That's one way to look at it positively. 2016 did not get hired. I got picked up December 2019.
Boom.
Yes.
How was that feeling when you got the email or when you got the card?
You seen that movie, Pursuit of Happiness? Will Smith.
I've seen it.
Will Smith, his son, when he gets that job at that investment firm, and he just goes down those steps, and this moment's called happiness. Bro, that's exactly how I felt. I was like, man, finally.
After getting that thank you but no thank you letter in the mail so many years, it's just like, oh.
Cap, I'm telling you, I've applied to 13 departments. All of them unsuccessful. That 14th department, that 14th time, this department, success. Yes. And I'm exactly where.
There's no other feeling like it when you get hired.
Yes.
Man. And even then, you're just like, until I go to work that first day and I have my uniform, I'm not going to believe it's true, because you're always thinking in the background, there's something that's going to come up there. There's going to be another wall. When I picked up my gear, I was just like, this is really happening.
This is really happening. Yes, sir.
And when I finally showed up to work the first day, that's when you can say,
I'm here.
I'm here.
And even then, the job's not done.
Yes.
It's only getting started. This journey. So yeah, got that acceptance letter. I finally felt adequate. I finally felt like, yes, I belong.
I'm worthy. Somebody.
I'm worthy. Yes. Along the lines of that, that's not to say that, these no's they serve their purpose.
You learn something from each and every single one.
Definitely. You learn something about yourself, more importantly.
What do I need to do to get better?
Yes. The goal is over there.
I need to get there.
I need to get there.
No matter what.
What do I need to do to get there?
Even if I got to make my own damn door.
And I've always applied that mentality, man. Yes.
Like, why didn't I get hired? Well, you got to get fire certified. All right. How do I get in the academy? All right. I got to get on the waiting list. All right. How I got to get a letter of recommendation to help me get into the class faster, which was tough at the time. Boom. I had to do it. EMT. All right. Let's do it.
Yes.
I got to take anatomy and physiology first or whatever. I didn't have to do it, but I know some people have to. Do it.
Yes.
Go to medics. Do it. Take inspector classes. Do it. Drive 200 miles for a possible job interview. Let's go.
Let's get it done.
I don't own a suit. Shit. Hey, call my brother. Hey, man, you got a shirt and tie? I got to show up looking sharp.
Bro, my first suit was Goodwill, bro. I went to Goodwill. Like, what can I put together here?
Listen, we got to do what we got to do. And for me, if you have a circle of guys who you go into the academy with, an EMT school with, and you're all looking for the job, and you talk to this guy and say, hey, what were some of the questions that I asked you if you applied to them? Or are you going to the same interview? Let's carpool up there just to make it easier. But it's just building up that chest, that war chest, so you're better prepared. Because the first time I went to an interview, they asked me some questions, and I was not prepared. The only thing I probably did right was saying my name. That was it. And I was like, oh, I got to get better in this. I'm definitely not getting hired.
Good. Right. When preparation meets opportunity, that equals success. Right.
Yep. So you got hired. Miami-Dade was your first fire department job?
First and last department, man.
Oh, you got lucky. How was the academy? How was the first day?
I got lucky.
You got lucky.
I got lucky, the man says.
This is from a person who, and listen, you deserved it.
Thank you.
Because I put myself through the Broward Fire Academy. Didn't have a job, did it on my own. Went through medics, did basically everything on my own.
Right.
First job was in Monroe County in the Keys. Worked there for about 11 months. Always wanted to be here in Miami-Dade. Got hired in Deerfield Beach. Worked there for 3 years and finally got to here in Miami-Dade. So
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
It's a blessing, man.
Listen,
Fortunate. We're in the big
greatest
leagues.
job in the world.
Big leagues, yes. That phrase, that quote is said often, and it's true. Those are facts.
So how was probation here for you? How was it? How was the fire academy? Were you ready for the academy from your military experience and your background in fitness? It probably wasn't as bad as somebody who didn't prepare themselves or know.
I was prepared.
Good.
I was going into it with the mindset, okay, let's
do this.
What I need to do. I need to show up. I need to get there earlier than anyone, right? I need to show up. I need to get there. I need all my I's have to be dotted. All my T's have to be crossed. All right, let's stay sharp. Recruit training, man. Speaking on it, humbling. You know, humbling experience. Learned a lot. Learned a lot about myself. Learned a lot about those around me. You know, the instructors, on point. I thank them for their guidance, their tutelage.
Setting that foundation.
Yeah, yes, and sharing it. More importantly, sharing it. Look, this is what I've done. This is what has been successful for me. Hopefully, you know, it's successful for you. And just, if it applies, cool. If it doesn't, you know, cool.
Another tool for the toolbox. Because everything is not going to be your plan A. So you always have a plan A, B, C, D, or E, and you just go down that box, and then hopefully you get whatever issue it is resolved. So when was your academy? Because, you know, some of those summer academies are brutal. Like, some guys are going to start this Monday coming up, and it is hot outside.
Academy started December.
Oh, you got a good one.
Fairly
December's
cold.
Not bad.
It's chilly. Not too bad.
Not bad at all.
Not bad. But then the pandemic hits March 2020
in
the middle of our academy.
How were some of
a
those
rude
difficult?
awakening.
How did you guys navigate that space? Did you guys have online stuff? Were you able to get together? Were people getting sick in the class? I know it was just almost like, oh, he tested sick. Oh, now I got to get this friggin' cotton swab down my shoved down my nostril again.
You're bringing back memories, man. I blocked all that stuff out. It was a blur, right? So the higher ups took care of that, all the logistics, and it seemed like a logistical nightmare.
It was tough.
We got it done. They got it done. You know, my hats off to them. Via Zoom training and online.
We figured it out. That's what we do.
They did. They adapted, they improvised, and they overcame. That's exactly what happened. I'm not a fairly good online student. You know,
I need hands-on.
For the most part,
things. I need to feel things. I need to see what's happening. I gotta
across the board, right? So you understand. You resonate.
Same way.
I gotta be. I know I'm a tactile person. I learn by hands-on. That's tactile learning. Some people are audio. Some people are visual. I'm like a mix of all those. I have to see it, apply it.
I need it all.
Yeah, I need all those things. That's how I learn, and I'm very aware of that.
So you get out the academy, life's good. How was your year of probation? What were some stations you bounced through?
Right, first rotation, Bat 2, Engine 32. Good.
Good trucks, good territory.
Second rotation, Rescue 29, fun.
That's where I live. That's where I did most of my career, Battalion 12C.
Good, man. It was a nice introduction to what the fire service is. We lived in trailers. I sound like a veteran, right? I only got 4 years on, but man, remember 29 was in trailers?
Yep.
Yeah, man, I was there. Good group of guys. Rotation 3, Platform 34.
Down south.
Yeah, surreal to say the least. I'm not from that area. I'm not familiar with that area.
I know that area. I lived that area, but for me, when I worked on the field, for me, Battalion 12 and 13 that was where I wanted to be. And after 34, where did you go?
After 34 was Bat 14, Rescue 1.
All right.
Surreal.
So you had a mixture of working through the whole county.
Correct. I got a taste of the entire county.
You got a taste of the entire county.
Yeah, which is cool. because I've never seen the county from that perspective.
You need that. And the reason why I like Battalion 12 for me is because it has a little bit of everything. You have the turnpike, you have the expressway, you have warehouses, you have single family residences, you have small houses, you got a taste of everything in that territory. And that's the reason why I like it that much. And the guys who work there are usually motivated, go-getters, and they want to be there. And the people who are in that battalion, they leave. Most of them don't leave by choice. They get promoted out, but most of them, once they get settled in there, that's pretty much where they're going to work.
Correct. Right. Some of these houses, you'll see the guys that want to be there. The guys that are there, they want to be there. And that shows. And that's super important because that resonates. You know, that's infectious. That I got you, you got me, that spreads, man. And that goes a long way. And you can see it. It's evident in some of these houses.
All right. So let's talk about fitness. I know you're a big fitness guy. You know, I think we probably met. I'm not sure how we met, but we kind of linked up even more through what we have here, Training Tuesdays, where we just get the guys to come in. We're motivated. And we know that fitness is is
a staple, a pillar
of the fire service.
Correct.
You have to be fit. They can give us the best tools. They can give us the best new trucks, equipment, but you have to be fit. So talk to me. What does fitness mean to you? Or how important is it to be fit in the fire service?
Okay. Right. Fitness.
How important is fitness to you in the fire service?
Essential. Essential as breathing, as water and food. You have to be fit for this career, this profession. Fitness is doing work and then completing that work and then doing more work. And once you've done all that work, you still got energy to do more work. The fitter you are, the more work you do.
You get rewarded by doing more work.
Yes. And individuals like us know that.
What, Chief? No, I'm good. I don't need to go to rehab. That's why it's so important for the whole crew to be fit, because you get to do more work and you get rewarded by getting to do more work. Who wants to go sit in rehab? I don't.
On that note, my first warehouse fire, my heart rate was through the roof. Super excited. Energy spent. I like, oh my God, I need to get better. I need to train in this gear. I need to get comfortable being uncomfortable. That gear is a game changer, man. I'm telling you that.
There's fitness, and then there's fire fitness, and you couldn't say to anybody being acclimated to working in your gear, because there's a difference.
That's exactly it. Acclimation. That's exactly it. And then muscle memory or habit forming, whichever school of thought you've gone to, whatever it is, you just got to do the work in gear, man, because that's our job. That's our office. We're going to work today, you know? Suit up.
I see you got a little, I like that shirt, man. Tell me more about that shirt. What, let me see there. What? Boom, on Civil Apparel. Tell me about that. Tell me a little bit more about that.
This is something that we've recently started, Uncivil Apparel. Uncivil has been around since 2015. It's a company I started when I was in TV production, you know, that film space, that film industry, because I was a freelancer. I was a self-contractor, if you will. So as compared to putting my name on every single piece of document, I just, you know, started a company back then. And then it branched off into something else, you know, until recently now, apparel. So this is for us, by us, pretty much.
Like FUBU.
Just like FUBU, man. You know, I'm in the space. You know, I've done a couple of things in my life. I resonate with people. People resonate with me. You know, I'm a patriot. You know, first responder. I was in the military service. You know, I was in the military. You know, I resonate with that demographic. I am them. They are me. I am you. You are me, type of thing.
And tell me, like, where can they find your stuff, and what do you guys offer? You have a website?
Correct. Yes, Cap. So right now it's called uncivilapparel.com. Uncivil. Exactly what the name is.
How'd you get that name?
That name was from Full disclosure. We
could talk offline if it's something that's crazy.
No, it's not that crazy. It was a team in my CrossFit days. We were Team Uncivilized.
Boom.
Boom. Wadapalooza teams before the super teams. Actually, as a matter of fact, in the super teams, because it was PR Raps, it was Nutriforce, it was Team Progenics.
Nutriforce. I remember Dominic Muruji.
Yeah, he's out at CrossFit Miami Lakes. He's there.
Caution.
He's doing good things, man. Progenics.
Remember those days?
Alex Smith. Progenics, right? Team Progenics. This was 2013.
Listen, you just mentioned Wadapalooza.
Wadapalooza
when
3.
it first came out was when regular people could participate, and then you were on the computer like this as soon as registration opened up, because
boom,
you weren't going to get a spot. Now it's gone to be international and probably one of the premier events outside the games. And it, to me, it rivals it. But you got to be a stud to get in there now.
Correct. Good. Cool. It is what it is. You know, it is what it is mentality. So this was Wadapalooza 3, 2013, Team Uncivilized. Bro, at one point we were in second place. Team Progenics, Nutriforce, PR Raps, whoever. We were up against these dudes. Homegrown affiliate, 3 coaches, just doing work. So we had the big dude, Mike, shout out to him. We had the small dude, J-Rod, shout out to him. So J-Rod was like the gymnasty, you know, body weight, you know. I was the one in the middle. I could do some body weight and I had some strength. And then Mike was the strong dude.
Boom.
You know, horse, thoroughbred. And I was your typical CrossFitter. You know, I was a mix of all of it. Team Uncivilized, bro. We're up at second place, spanking, doing work with these guys, and we're like in awe, like, and I'm like,
we
no.
belong.
Yeah,
I'm like those people, like
exactly. We've done the work. We're supposed to be here. Don't give us this. Oh, what do you? No, we're here. Like, and that mindset, man, that uncivil mindset, that uncivilized, uncivil mindset, that primal, that, you know.
Let's go.
It's not caring, having zero cares. You know, that zero fucks given type of mentality. That's what that is. That's exactly what that is. So Team Uncivilized, they took off in itself. That became something higher than me. They went out to regionals. I didn't partake. I got injured, and then I was just left to like, okay, what do I do now? Bro, I'm uncivil, bro. That is who I am, and there's many like me, like they are like me. If that makes sense, right? So there are many individuals out there that have the similar mindset, you know, taking no for an answer, going after what you want, you know, don't stop till the job gets done.
Boom.
That's exactly it, man. Uncivil.
All right, so we kind of wrap things up here today. You got any big plans for the weekend?
Mother's Day tomorrow. Hang out with the fam. Hang out with Mama Dukes. You know, nothing, man. Just live life. Wake up another day. Get a workout in.
Definitely get a workout in. Get it in early, because, you know, if you don't get it in early, it's not going to happen, which is what I'm going to do when I leave here today, because things get busy, and then you get done, and then you start looking for things to get out of it. Then you got to just like, listen, I got to get this done. And you just got to do it.
That's it.
Any other competitions? Well, we're going to back up a little bit, because I don't even know how we skipped over this, because we're part of a team.
Yes,
called
we are.
the RIT competition team.
The Rapid Intervention Crew Team, or is it RIT?
It's a RIT team. We'll still call it RIT. You know,
Rapid Intervention Team.
NIMS calls it RIC, Rapid Intervention Crew Team.
Right.
RAT teams, many different names, but we still call it RIT.
RIT. We are RIT, and we're gonna do work. That same mindset, that same mentality, that same, like, we're gonna apply it. We're gonna show up, and Miami-Dade's it's gonna be a force, because it's fairly prevalent up, you know, in the north. I'm not sure why it's not prevalent down here, but we're going to start winning, man.
We need to get better, and
we are.
When we mentioned it, you know, everybody came out, yeah, I'm going to do it, but when they come to our practice,
there's a select few that have showed up.
When they come to practice and know that it's work, they don't show back up there, or they make, I got overtime, or I got the kids. Yeah,
that's cool.
We understand.
Yeah,
we understand, but we know who's in it to win it, or who's just lip service.
We get it. Cool.
So looking forward to this season.
We're gonna show up. Yo, I get chills. I can't even fake it, man. I'm telling you, we're gonna do work. We're gonna start winning, and then all eyes are gonna be on us. I'm telling you, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Anything else? Anything else you're doing?
leaving it better than I found it. That's it. Making a difference, making an impact, leaving an imprint. I'm gonna see what these next 40 years. Like I said earlier offline, 40 years, man. I've been on this earth. 40 years. I've done X, Y, Z. Let's see if I could do A, B, and C these next 40 years.
You got any words of advice for somebody, young guy, trying to get into the fire service?
Words of advice for someone trying to get into the fire service is show up, don't quit. Never fucking quit. You want it, you go after it.
Boom. That's a wrap. Hey, Erik, thanks for coming out today. Thanks for taking your time out and having this conversation. I'm glad we finally got to sit down, and now it's time to do work.
Cap, let me just say thank you so much for your time. I'm truly humbled and honored to be here. I've learned so much about you. I've learned so much about myself, and hopefully our message, your message spreads and it resonates with people, right? It'll be a disservice if it doesn't. So thank you so much. You're doing great. You're doing big things, man, and I see you. All right.
Thank you, man. Thanks, sir.